Ducky the Ducky just followed.
was all your love, wrapped in lies. Oh, oh, showing off, pretending to be nice. All I heard about was all your love, but you crossed the line. Oh, but I got no heartache, heartbreak, grief about you now. No, I will keep dancing, I will keep dancing till the sun comes up and I'm running out of luck. I'm going until dawn. I will keep dancing, I will keep dancing when the game's still on and I'm all the way in for more. Oh, I will keep on dancing, dancing, tomorrow I will see you on your knees, begging, oh, 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 I need you, look at me, we could bring this back. Don't tell me how you feel, it's your regret, wrapped in lies, oh, cause I knew you would blow it, mess up all again. No, I will keep dancing, I will keep dancing till the sun comes up and I'm running out of luck. I'm going until dawn. I will keep dancing, I will keep dancing when the game's still on and I'm all the way in for more. Oh, I will keep on dancing, dancing, dancing,
Misadventures in
Hey.
Astro just subscribed for 19
Misadventures.
months.
How you doing? Let's get you a shout out. Welcome on in. Coming in with that tier 1 sub. Also, Gucky the Ducky with that follow. Thank you very much. Sorry I'm a little bit late tonight. We went and saw the new Avatar movie in 3D, and of course it's like a 3.5 hour movie, and it started at
That's
like
rough,
3
buddy.
o'clock. Hey, we also have a design by Dave. Another astrophotographer here on the platform. How's everyone doing? I will get you a shout out, Dave, when Twitch lets me. But yeah, how's everyone doing? Hope you had a good weekend. Mine was a little little expensive, to say the least. We have a broken oven, which is now turning into a double oven, and then that double oven is going to require a little bit of extra work from like the appliance store for them to build it, like build a space for it. So that was, you know, more than $5,000, you know. And then the best bit, last night the garage door broke. So now we have someone coming out tomorrow to fix the garage door as well. The spring broke, and now it just doesn't move. It is heavy AF. So that's gonna be no, probably another couple hundred, probably, in order to do that. Alright, let's see if we can get Dave his shout out now. Go, make sure you go and follow him. What happened with the garage door? The spring broke. Like, I had just gotten off the treadmill, and the significant other was coming home, and I heard the garage door trying to open, and it would go like boop up, and then she would press it again and go boop up. Like it would try to go up and then like fail, and then the next time you press it, it would go back down and then back up again, and then go down and back up again. But like it only went up like not even an inch. Like you could see it trying to go up, but nothing happened. And so, yeah, we can't go in or out of through the garage door. So every time we have to leave the house now, we have to walk out the front door, walk around the townhouses, just to get to our car. And we can't park out front because that's like a, not exactly a roundabout, but it's like, it's a long drive with like a thing in the middle. And yes, you can only go one way on it. But it's not exactly a roundabout. It's just like a one-way circle. So very, very weird. So, not quite sure what we're gonna do with that. You know. Well, so we're gonna get like I said, we've got someone coming out tomorrow. And here's the thing: is we found out, and I didn't look at this until we started having the problem, but the garage door was supposed to have 2 springs, but there was only 1. So we're amazed that we were able to last this long without it even breaking. Because it's almost enough room for a double. I don't know if 2 cars would actually fit, but it's almost there. So like, there should have been 2 springs to begin with, and there wasn't.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
So like, I looked up like how to replace a garage door spring, and it doesn't seem bad provided you have the tools. But at the same time, I'm just tired. We just ain't nobody got time for that. So, of all things, it's not terrible in terms of cost. Hopefully. Maybe a couple hundred, to replace a spring. And so, with parts and labor, yeah. I could see it being $200-300. But we'll see. We'll see. But then again, prices lately for everything is dumb as hell. I mean, you're not wrong. But theoretically, just like... yeah, it should be easy. Hey, Astronomy Show, welcome on in. How you doing? Yeah, usually they replace both springs. What would help is if you actually had 2 springs to begin with. Which is why we think that might have been an issue. But how you doing? I hope you are doing well. I hope everyone is doing well. Everyone that's in here. And I hope everyone's having a less expensive weekend than I've had. You sell one house and all that money that came in just goes straight out. Spent a whole night fighting equipment. Oh no. You're still on the streaming hiatus. Well, I hope you will be able to come back soon. I know everyone misses you. What equipment were you fighting with, Misadventures? Was it my C8? Were you fighting with that? Was it giving you any trouble? Had wins, so decided to move the rig over to the EQ6R I got recently to test it out. I see, I see. It's actually kind of funny because if I get the C8, I bought the EQ6R doesn't handle off balance well at all. Oh no. Oh boy. I find it funny because for the GT71, I bought like a plate for it, but that plate doesn't fit on the AVX because I think the AVX is like special and has something different. So if I get the C8, I'm gonna need to buy like a different plate, I think, for the GT71, because I don't know that the AVX will be able to handle the C8. Although I think it might be able to. I think it's like technically kind of like close to the limit. My former mod told me today about Black Cat's Manor streaming the X Flare. That sucker was bright. Yeah, it was like a weird D-plate thing. Yeah, Black Cat's Manor is another astronomy streamer on the platform and likes to do a lot of solar. Yeah, it's an X-Class. Good news for you. Because you'll be able to go to dark skies to see anything. Wait, so hold on. Does that mean that we are predicted to get some aurora if there was an X-Class flare? When? Like, okay, I guess, when did it happen? And when are we expecting aurora? Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's supposed to be clear. There was an R3 radio blackout from it. Wow. So tomorrow night is supposed to be clear. It's going to be a little cold. There is a coronal hole, so speeds are elevated. Do we have, like, predicted storm level? Like, do we have something that's like... Okay. Interesting. So, we might have aurora tomorrow. Okay. Because I know tomorrow and Tuesday are supposed to be clear for us. So... it's worth keeping an eye out for. Yeah. Significant Earth-directed component. Oh, they know that already. Okay. Yeah, so NOAA doesn't have a prediction yet on their dashboard. Full halo. So okay. So is y'all are getting me excited. Are these conditions like, are they anything like what we saw last year? Or what was it? October 2024? Is that when we had the big one? Like the big one? The big one was in May of last year. I thought October was like the big one. Or at least the one that was further south. October was a decent one too. I'm looking to see if I've got G3 storm expected at mid-latitudes as well. Yeah, they're not predicting anything yet for here. Per spaceweather.com. Let me make sure this. I have a blur. I can use a blur. I forgot about the blur. Just want to make sure it doesn't like have like my location. Okay, so it's an X 1.9. Let's unblur this because I don't think it has anything. So that's just alerts. So X1. I don't know what most of this means. Oh, these are just asteroid encounters. Okay. It's in the paragraph below the X flare GIF. That's the whole. Oh, right here. It's in the paragraph below the flare GIF. Okay, right here. Radiation from the flare ionized Earth's atmosphere over the Americas, especially South America, caused a shortwave radio blackout that may have lasted more than an hour at frequencies below 10 megahertz. Of greater interest is the CME. The explosion launched a full Halo CME with a significant Earth-directed component. NASA models predict that it will reach Earth during the early hours of January 20th. This impact could cause a strong G3 class geomagnetic storm with mid-latitude auroras. Okay, so we see it fully hit us, or headed towards us. All right, well, that is on my radar now. All right, when was this photo taken? Yeah, okay, so this one, the ones where I got the most photos was from October 2024. That, for me, that was a big one, because that's where I got most of my photos. Like these ones. So for me, that was the big one. But yeah, we did have some in like May. All right. Excellent. I love it. That is something to keep an eye on. All right, so I was gonna say tonight, you know, we play Rocket League like usual, but I started very late and probably have to make up time tomorrow for work because I had to be off on Friday in order to sell my house. So, with that being said, let's take a look at some of the data that I've gathered. Of the Andromeda galaxy. In fact, selling a house, a really big deal. Hope it went well. It did. I was I was freaking out a little bit because the title company said that the money for it went out Friday, but I think because it was so late, it hasn't posted to my bank at all yet. So I'm just like, oh god, is my money gone? Did I just lose all the money from my house? Like, oh my god, I'm just freaking out, whatever. And I'm like, you know, emailing the title company lady, and you know, she's telling me don't worry and all this stuff. And I'm just like, ah. So we'll find out tomorrow whether things went wrong. Because like here's where the like the kind of the worry came from, is that the title company only gave me two options in terms of how to disperse the funds. One was to give them my username and password for my bank account, which that's never going to happen. I'm never going to give a random company the credentials to my bank account. The other was to do a wire. Now, I've never wired anything, but it was my understanding that wiring money is like kind of almost the same as writing a check. You have like your routing number and your account number. So I gave them those. Yeah, trust them. They won't get hacked. Exactly. Or, you know, trust us. We won't remember your details. Like, no. Pardon my French, but fuck you. That's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. You know? Like, that's just a massive security risk. That's never going to happen. So, anyways. So, with the wire, like, I thought that, like, I was under the impression from what I had read that, you know, your routing number...
Buenas tardes, puto! ¿Cómo estás en la casa?
Okay. It's my understanding that, you know, you use the routing number and the account number, and that's what it is. But then I look at my bank, and they're like, oh, we have a different number. And I'm just like, excuse me? What? So I don't... Yeah. We'll see what happens. Hopefully nothing bad. Also, welcome on in, Hugin. How you doing? Thank you for using Blurp. By the way, subscribers do get to use Blurp for free, as Hugin just showed off. Actually, hold on. Okay, you are subscribed. It was I don't know why. I think I'm just because I'm tired. I initially thought you weren't subscribed. And so because of that, I was like, how did you just do that? Oh, they just got the wrong bank account number for the transfer. No big deal. Yeah, I hope not. I hope not. I do know that there's a way they can like issue a recall. But we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Good. So
First things first, have you thought about just apologizing? That was pretty bad.
Hello, but I'm not sorry.
hello, but I'm not sorry. Yeah, exactly. Oh. We have
Misadventures in Astro gifted
a
Tier 1
subscription.
subscription to Astronomy Show.
Well, thank you for that, Misadventures. Wait, hold on. So, Astronomy Show. I recently got a ton of money from some dork selling his house. Okay, that was good. That was good. So, Astronomy Show got Bytecoins, but so did Misadventures. What? We played with this last week, and it did not act like that. I'm so confused. Why did both of these hit?
I don't know.
But yes, thank you, Misadventures, for that sub to Astronomy Show. So for those of you that don't know what we're looking at here, does it act different with random gift versus specified gift? Yes. So yes. So we have channel subscription gift. Wait, hold on. As well as channel subscribe,
Silence, you contemptible shrew!
which we were right here. So what we saw is that both of these events fired. Both of these events fired. So we did have a gifted subscription. Honestly, I should have looked at what was happening here. That was unexpected. Honestly, so the fact that both of you got Bytecoins, I don't know if I care. I don't know how I want to deal with that. I mean, the person gifting the sub that's doing the gift should get the full. Maybe I make it so that if you are gifted a sub, you get like half or something. Or make it configurable. I wanna make a note of this. Gifted sub. Coins went to both giftee and gifted. I cannot, Hugin, and you know that. All right. But anyways, so we have some data here for the Andromeda Galaxy, and it was 3x drizzled. So we actually already have it stacked, Astronomy Show. I'm just showing how much time went into each of the channels. So you know, obviously it's very heavily weighted towards H Alpha, because my hope was to try and get some of the dust around Andromeda. Some of that like weaker dust, and that's what we have here in this instance here. So here's our H Alpha channel, but it doesn't really look like I have it. Yeah, it would be nice to get it, but I don't know if it's there. That's the thing. And I also want to try like going through multiple iterations of processing this, because like I think there are multiple ways we can kind of do it. And so I just kind of want to play and see what results we get. So like, you know, LRGB and LSHO, like, you know, play around. Do I do background extraction? Do I do automatic background extraction? You know, do I do gradient correction? Do I not do gradient correction? Like, there's so many choices that can be made. And so I kind of want to like just play with it. Thank you for that, Misadventures. Yeah, we're gonna find Chewie. We're gonna find Chewie. Also, by the way, did you guys know that they're making a Mandalorian and Grogu movie in like 3D? Yeah, we saw the commercials for it today. I didn't know they were making one, but I was pleasantly surprised to see that. So, yeah. So let's start off with a little bit of with a little bit of Blur Exterminator. Let's you said it. Let's add a little bit of sharpening. Actually, you know what? Let's also do this. Let's do an image container. Now I want to add some views. I want B, G, L, and R. So now I can run that on all 4 of those at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but in a row without having to like click it each time. So I think what I want to do is actually start with a start with just kind of doing like a minimal processing kind of run and just like combine it all, not do like background extraction or anything until later. And like just kind of go through like, you know, the color correction first, and then see where we land with that and see if it's any good, and then continue from there. Also, I'm really glad I have a spare computer that I can do this GPU processing on without like my stream slowing down. Yeah, exactly. It absolutely will. It does not like being open with OBS. So, spare computer, very nice. Love that. Oh, I'm the GPU now. Speaking of computers, I met this guy on Friday after selling my house. I went to this friend of a friend's house where he was offering me a computer. More of like he was offering me a server chassis that could hold 8 blade servers in it. And it had 4 in there. Yeah, it was a Cisco chassis. And I got there and like, you know, we started talking about it. Like one of them, just one of them had like 320 gigabytes of RAM in it. It was full. Like all 25 slots. No, it was 4 sections of 5 sticks of 16 gigabytes of RAM. So I think it was 320 total gigs of RAM in one computer. One of the 4. You've used them a lot. Yeah, like I would love to have this machine. However, the problem is that it's 240 volt and I think it requires 4 circuits. Like, I think each one of them would have needed a breaker. And there was no way I was going to be able to do that. Also, this thing was massive. Like, it would be great to put, you know, PixInsight on there and just chug through data. Because it would. Oh boy, would it would if you had 320 gigs of data. Or gigs of RAM. Like, that would chew through it so fast. Because it was also, like, dual CPU. People are cannibalizing machines these days just to pull the RAM for resale. And, you know, I might be able to snag some of that RAM. I just haven't looked yet at, like, what my computers actually take. Because actually getting some of that RAM would actually be really nice. Because, like, I already have some servers in the basement. But if I could snag extra RAM and, like, max them out, that'd be great. So, like, it's not the fastest RAM. I think it was only, like, 2100 megahertz. But even still, like, just having that much RAM will be a good thing. All right, I forgot which mouse I need to use. So I actually have 2 mice on my computer. So this, can I rename this? I cannot. In any case, I want to create another image container. There we go. So a guy who rebuilds laptops throwing in the towel on YouTube due to the RAM prices. It's nuts. It's nuts right now. Like 16 to 32 gigs of RAM are like $1,000 now. Like, that's unacceptable. Honestly, I don't think that's gonna help you. Like, trying to sell it, I mean, maybe, but you know, like, it's not gonna help you get the new stuff, because that's just gonna be even more expensive. I mean, I guess it would reduce how much you need to spend. All right, so this is LRGB. No, not curves. I wanted screen transfer. Glad I bought the M2 with 64 gigs when I did. Yeah. And I believe this machine we're looking at here has 32, and my main computer has 64. It does. It does have 64. Alright, so this is LRGB. Also, I need to run Blur Exterminator on Image Container 2. Yeah, the one I'm on now is M1 with 32 gigs. Gotcha. Haven't fully moved over. Yeah. And and like the other thing is, like, with the 8GB SSD, that's very small. That doesn't even hold an OS. Oh, 8TB. Oh, nice. Okay, that's much better. That's much better. I was like, 8GB, that's, whoo boy. I don't know how you got something that small. I mean, yeah. I do too. I remember floppy drives. You know, 1.44 megabytes. And you're just like, I'm never going to use that much. And now look at me now. Got in his time machine to go back to Circuit City to buy it. I remember getting 20 gigabytes and thinking I had some... I remember building a storage server that has 11 terabytes and thinking I had so much space. And I'm filling that up. I believe they are rolling back the specs on things now to go out with 512 gigabyte again due to the prices. I mean, they don't have much of a choice. Like, you know, memory is kind of going out of control, so they can't really ship more memory. Nvidia's like stopped like production of like their highest end cards. Like, I think they're only, like, bringing back, like, the 5060, something like that. Yeah, it was very weird. Let's do this. Let's do a spectrophotometric color calibration. Let's also do a find background. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so like that's very weird. Like I don't know why. Okay, I mean we do know why they're doing it. It's because AI is the next best thing, and everyone wants to be the first to reach AGI or whatever. Like general intelligence. And like I've been playing with AI recently, and it hasn't. Okay, now to be fair, I haven't been playing with any of the models that like OpenAI or Anthropic or Claude or whatever, all of them. I haven't been playing with them. I've been playing only with the like public ones. And what I will say is that the public ones are like maybe 20% useful, 30% useful. So like I think where I currently see value in it is in some of the tooling around it and not just the model itself. For example, I've been playing with something called Open Web UI, where essentially it creates a web server that you can hook up a bunch of different models to, and you can change models and do like all this, you know, whatever stuff. You know, based on whatever can run on your machine, right? But some of the tooling around it is where I find some of the value. So, for example, one of them was, by public, do you mean free lower tier or open source? Meaning public as in I can install Ollama, and I can just run a command to say, hey, pull down Qwen3 8B, and it just downloads it for free, and it runs right on my computer, completely free. Whether Ollama is fully open source, I don't know. But essentially, any of the models that are on Ollama are free to run and use, so long as your computer can do it. So, for example, there's a GPT OSS that's like 120 billion parameters that my stream PC with 64 gigs can run, and whatnot. But my secondary machine, the one that we see here, I think it's too much for that one. Now, there are some models that when I just straight up run it, it says there's not enough memory for it. Like, you know, so it's I think the OSS needs 96 gigabytes. Well, not the GPT OSS one that's 120. So let me show you that one real quick. So we're here on the models, and if you go to like thinking, so we have GPT OSS here, and so they have a 120 billion one, and the model file itself is 65 gigs. They also have a cloud one, but that one I believe you have to like have like a login and probably pay for it. Like it runs in the cloud. But like this one specifically, you could just run it yourself. I mean, because I've run it. Now, it doesn't necessarily run fast on my computer. What I will say is that so anyways, where I was going is that the tooling around these models are where I can see some value. So for example, what I was getting to is I found this tool where you can have it retrieve the closed captions from a YouTube video, and then you can take it those closed captions and it becomes part of the context, and you pass it into the model, and the model can then summarize an entire video for you without you having to watch it. Now, obviously, that requires the video to have captions, so not all videos have them on YouTube. But that's like one of the ways that like I see like it could be useful, of like, hey, take this science video that's 2 hours long, and run it through a quick agent, like a quick, not agent, but model. Like let's say we even go back to like the 20 billion parameter model. Run it through there real quick, or 0.6 billion. Get me a quick summary, and I could then maybe say, okay, well, maybe now I need to take that and put it into something else and maybe get a better summary, and maybe it's worth watching or something. I see on Search Assist that 80 gigabytes of VRAM is recommended to fit the context length and other overhead for OSS 120 billion. So I mean, that might be like recommended in order to like run it like at full speed is my guess, but it runs on my computer. But it might be because it's quantized. Whereas when you run it through quantization, I believe that lets it run on the processor, I think. But maybe I'm even doing something wrong, where maybe it's not giving me good answers because doesn't have enough. I don't know. I'm very new to it, so I don't know fully all this stuff. See, the OSS 20 billion will run on 16 gigabytes, and you have 32. Yes. So I'm pretty sure I could run this very easily. I could run that easily. But yeah, they've got a bunch of different models here. And I haven't like fully played with them, but like I was saying, like I think tooling is where it starts to see value. All right, so we have a stacked and stretched, or not stretched, but like a combined LRGB image. So let's, for now, just do this. Let's go into like the multi-scale, the new stretching thing. Multi-scale adaptive stretch. So seeing as it's a galaxy, let's drop that down. Now I don't remember what a lot of these do. Oh wait, we can preview it. So with the new multi-scale stretch, this is what we see at the moment. How are you liking the multi-scale adaptive stretch? I actually like it from the standpoint of it makes you not have to do a like an HDR multi-scale transformation. I've been playing with free Grok and Gemini to make virtual 3D navigable worlds in HTML, tiny 10 to 20K files. It's been interesting. Hey, it's a shark with a background. Hello, Hackem. Mostly Gemini lately. So it's interesting because I heard a thing about like Google's strategy with like Gemini. I'm doing well. I am doing well, aside from having had a very expensive weekend of buying new appliances and then the garage door breaking. But otherwise, I'm doing well. We're talking astronomy and AI at the moment. So I heard that Google's strategy of what they're doing is letting people use like free Gemini, and then what their like underlying ulterior motive is that people start to use it and then they kind of go, I don't really want to switch, so I'm just gonna stay. Which I guess it works, you know. I can get about 3 good coding prompts out of it in pro mode. Nice. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is kind of nerdy talk, but also not really. Like, we can talk about anything. I don't know what that changed. So if I bring the aggressiveness down, let's go to smooth so I can make like big wild changes and see what happens. Oh. Yeah, so some of the coding models on Olama I haven't really found to be very helpful. Unfortunately. Okay, alright, let's read this. Controls the stretch preconditioning applied to highlights. This parameter affects the contrast distribution in the stretched images. Higher values produce softer contrast in the highlights. Lower values produce stronger contrast. The default value is 40. So that's actually like, let's try bringing that down a bit. Because I do want like more contrast. Free sessions recharge at noon the next day. Gotcha. Controls the black point clipping for the auto stretch. Higher values result in more aggressive clipping of the shadows, which can help remove sky glow, but may also clip faint details. So if I bring this down, I think I actually see details here start to come in more with this. So if we bring this up, that M31 has a lot of signal in it. How much integration time? So here's the breakdown of integration. We have 32 hours of HA, which we're not actually even looking at right now. This is just LRGB. So we have 9.5 of O3, 3 of S2. So 4, 4, 6, and 4 of LRGB. We haven't even gotten to the SHO yet. But right now I'm just playing around with some of the new values to see like what it does, if that makes sense. Although I will say, this data we were looking at here, I thought was going to disappear, but it's actually, oh, that is, we cannot do that. We can't do that. But I'm just looking through some of the, you know what, let's look at the documentation. Bring that back. Because I want to see what scale separation is. Determines the number of dyadic scales using the multi-scale median transform for separating large-scale and small-scale image components. This parameter only affects processing when contrast recovery is enabled. I don't know what a dyadic scale is, but represents structures approximately 2 to the n pixels in size. So for example, scale 10 corresponds to structures around 1024. The algorithm removes all scales up to scale separation -1 to isolate large scale image component. I mean, color saturation I think is going to be easy to understand. Also, this is 3x drizzle as well. So we do see that like the image is like 7,500 by 7,500. I'm just trying to see like, okay, so if I go too high, everything kind of pops. Also, I'm just noticing, damn it, I might have an issue with flats down here. I think I saw something. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe here it looks like maybe there's something, but anyways, we're not gonna go that aggressive anyways. I actually want to bring it back a bit. Whoa, that's... Oh, I think we want to look at that. Oh, okay. So this preview is showing us like the various parts, I think. Like the various structures. So it's 4 to 10. So then let's look at this again. Okay, so what I'm understanding, or the way I'm looking at this, is that when we look at this, it's talking about the different structures here in terms of contrast and trying to separate things out. And so if you go up high, you get larger structures that I think won't be separated, which is probably good for the galaxy in terms of the stretch. But if you go down, you'll get more separation in all these smaller sections. So in terms of, like, if we come in here, I'm just trying to see if the preview. Oh, that's not going to help. Just trying to see if the preview will make any sense here. Like, I think it said it defaults to 7. I mean, we do have large structures, so let's see what it looks like with 9 versus 8. Does anyone see a difference? Because I don't. I can't notice a difference, and it's probably even harder for you guys. I was looking up dyadic wavelet transformation calculation. It's like magic to me. Yeah. Yeah. It is magic. It is magic. Anyways, let's bring this back down to 7. What was this default value? 75? Did you try the continuum subtraction thingy to completely try and separate the HA signal? Not yet, but we will. We're getting there. We're right now just going through an LRGB workflow. In fact, I think I'm going to turn color saturation off. And I'll just do, or saturation, I'll just do it myself. Actually, no. Let's turn it back on. Let's turn it back on, but let's bring the boost down a little bit. Because I want to say this starts at like 0.75. And I think this starts at like 50%. Also, Hackem, if you're still here, we were talking about this earlier. There's potential for Aurora Borealis tomorrow night at like mid-US latitudes. So I don't know where you are, but might want to be on the lookout for that. Years ago, when I used to use Registax wavelets, I pretty much was like Derek Zoolander at the Apple computer. I mean, that's kind of how I feel doing all this. It's all this math I don't know and understand, but I make pretty pictures out of it, and I'll be a monkey with a keyboard and just, you know, have fun with it. Cause like the other thing too is like I don't think I actually have like a truly color calibrated monitor. So I might be seeing something in very weird colors and not know it. All right, so actually here's one thing I'd like to do. I'm going to undo this. I'm going to clone it and then redo that. Cuz I'd like to have a color calibrated one that I could use like a statistical stretch on. Wavelets are magic. I spent a few hours playing with the Jupiter data I took. Oh, nice.
Neon skies, you feel it closer to danger. Just a touch won't be enough.
All right, let's see how this does. You got anything to share for us, misadventures? Get anything better? I just want to see what happens if I stretch it a little, if I boost the curves a little bit more. We could also do this and then do a generalized hyperbolic stretch and see what we get there. Made some slight improvements, but still so much data to play with and settings to try. Gotcha. Bring this down a little bit. I love thinking about how M31 is heading our way, and the outer edges / stars may already be interacting with the outer edges of the Milky Way. Yeah, and like the fact that like just the universe is so freaking big, like even if things were interacting, like it's gonna take a while before we even see that. Like, you know, we should beam your image to them so they can see how their galaxy looks. You know, let's execute this. 5 billion years for the main merger. Maybe they can send one back. Yeah, show us our galaxy, our Milky Way. Maybe they are. That's true. Maybe they have already done that. Wow, played too much Rocket League and ended up in space. Welcome, Carlos. How you doing? Yeah, I got a little bit of a late start today because we went and saw the new Avatar movie. And so I figured, you know what, let's do some Astro image processing. But how you doing? Welcome on in. My daughter went to the re-release of Lord of the Rings. Oh, nice. I love Lord of the Rings. This is LRGB statistical. Okay, I'll bite. What's Astro image processing? So Carlos, when we, as in like myself and Astronomy Show and Misadventures in Astro, when we create these images of things like galaxies and whatnot, we need to take the data that we capture, create what's called a stacked image, and then we take those stacked images to create full color images. So for example, if I minimize these, we have red, green, and blue here. So obviously these are all monochrome, right? They're all black and white in various shades from 0 to 1 essentially. And so yeah, all I see is gray. Right, exactly. So we have to process this data to create an astronomy image. She had a blast watching the second, now at home, will return for the third. Nice. So we take this grayscale data and then we turn it into a full color image. Now, granted, you know, here we can see like there's a little bit of blue here, a lot of kind of muted colors here. And all that. So that's kind of what we're talking about at the moment. So if I were to do something like come up here to curves, let's create a preview here, and I were to crank the chroma, we'll start to see more color coming through. Sort of a composite, right? I mean, yes and no. So the thing is like, yes, a composite in the fact that we're taking 3 images in this case and bringing them together to make a color image. However, this color image we're taking has all of the red, green, and blue in it, right? That like a single image would have had. So in this image case specifically, all of the data was taken with individual color filters. We didn't take all of the color at the same time. So I have a filter for red, filter for green, filter for blue. So I'm looking at the same target. I'm not moving the telescope to change it. The camera sensor's looking at the same thing. It's just a matter of, we take a bunch of those images, combine them together to get one single image. Now, there are astronomy cameras that can take full color images. In fact, I have one. In fact, let me show you this here. I actually have a full color image of this same target taken with a full color camera that is not a composite. All right. The combined light of 1 trillion stars in that view, not including the satellite galaxies. I know, right? It's starting to ring a bell. Yeah, so so we have this here. So I have 2 telescopes. And this one was taken with a color camera. And, all I had to do is just continuously take color images over and over and over again and do it for 24 hours and, you know, got a really cool picture. Now, you might ask, why use a monochrome camera instead of a color camera, right? So if I can spend 24 hours getting full color, why would I ever want to do, you know, 24 hours of red, 24 hours of green, 24 hours of blue, you know, all that, like having to spend, you know, 3 to 4 times as much time gathering data just to get something as good, right? That might be, you know, a question you ask, right? Like, why waste all the time? The big difference between running a color camera and a monochrome camera is, yes, for the detail. So there's something called the Bayer matrix, and what I'll do is, like, let me bring up Paint here. Oh, there we go. So let me just take a square here, and we're gonna look at an example of a single pixel, right? So on a monochrome camera, when you take an image, you know, you're gonna get a gray of some sort, whether it's, you know, whether it's black, white, or gray, you know, whatever, you're gonna get the whole thing, right? Like the whole pixel will be that. However, if you have a color sensor, you need to get red, green, and blue for this right here. So for example, let me just take this and move it over. And I'll copy it and, you know, bring a you know, same image size right here. Or same pixel size. So, oops, let's no, redo that. Undo that. So let's say now here, let's do this. Let's just do grayscale here. But on the other one, if we want full color, we need to fit red, green, and blue into this space, right? So the natural thing to do would be to split it into 4, right? So pretend that that's straight, or like evenly spaced, right? So now you've got 4, right? But you have 3 colors, right? So you have red, green, and blue. In fact, let's just do that to make sure if, like, fill works. So, you know, you go to yourself and you're like, all right, well, let's do like red there, we'll do blue there, but then now you have green. So you're just like, all right, well, you got green, what do you do here? So the common thing that camera manufacturers will do is they'll do red, green, green, blue. And so this is something called the Bayer matrix. So all of this sits on top of, you know, a sensor like this. So what that means now is that I should clarify. All of these right here are individual pixels now. So you have a red, green, and a blue pixels underneath here. So in effect, in order to get full color, you need 4 times a larger image sensor just to get the same like size density as a grayscale image or grayscale camera, right? Because, you know, essentially each one of these has a gray sensor underneath it. So when you have this one pixel combined, you know, taking up 4 pixels here, just to get, you know, like I said, just to get one. So, you know, you can only record grayscale, and you can only record 0 to 1 on a pixel. So that's why you have a red filter over pixels, green filters over pixels, blue filters over pixels, in order to combine those into a single pixel. So that's where you'll get, you know, you'll get a lot of saving. It's like space savings. In addition to increased sharpness, another benefit to monochrome image is shooting with filters is you can precisely isolate and process the light data to get other info from it. Like we were looking at hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. Right, so what Astronomy Show is talking about is, if you remember the spectrum of light, you know, going from like ultraviolet up to infrared and beyond. When we look at like this, I think it's the field of spectroscopy. You know, different chemical elements give off light in very specific ways. So when we talk about hydrogen alpha as one specific element, it gives off light at a very specific wavelength and nothing else. So what we can do is, instead of having so instead of having actually, let's make that black. So instead of having a filter that, like, you know, let's say here's our light spectrum here, and you know, this is the range of visible light. So let's say we have a, why is this gray? I want black. Let's say we have a whole line here of, like, this is the light that we fully see, but then let's say we only want this specific range. We can create a specific filter to capture this little segment of light, right? So this narrow band of the wave of the spectrum. So that's why we call it narrow band imaging. So the reason why we do this is, A, we can target those specific elements, but B, for people like me that live in high light pollution areas, the rest of the spectrum that isn't hydrogen alpha, I get to completely block out. And so that helps get, you know, very detailed, not detailed, but like very very specific things. So what we'll see later on is that there may be details in here, like let's say some of these structures here, that aren't visible in the visible light. So let's actually like take a look at that real quick, because we can do that. So if we do this and this, I put these side by side, and then I believe if I do this, so now we can see in our hydrogen alpha on the left, we have this structure here that just isn't here in the visible light, in you know, red, green, and blue. So one of the things that we're going to do in our processing later is we're going to take data like this. You know, we could see there's all this stuff here on the left that's just not here on the right. So by processing this data, we're going to bring all of this information into the visible spectrum and kind of remap it, right? So we're going to have, like, you know, our red, green, and blue, but in the red, the green, or the blue, we're going to add more data on top of it. So we might, for example, take some of this hydrogen alpha, which is actually close to red, and we might bring that in as red on here. So we might see, you know, this whole kind of structure come through. For Carlos, hydrogen alpha light is a deep red color, but we can ignore or omit local light pollution if we focus on just one color. Right, exactly. You know, so like all of this data here is just not there. And so, you know, narrowband imaging gives us all kinds of different possibilities, right? So for example, and a lot of times it's very colorful too. So if I bring up one of my favorite images, we have the Seder region. Is a very, very colorful section of the sky. And it's hydrogen, so we know where the stuff is too. Right, exactly. So this is full narrowband. None of this was true color. I do know about the light pollution situation. Right. So, you know, so with our narrowband, which is where the closer one is to sea level and cities. So being close to sea level isn't necessarily a bad thing. The light pollution is more because of cities. Now, granted, a lot of cities are near the sea, so that's just kind of a natural consequence. So, for example, the best light pollution you can have would actually be out in the middle of the ocean, right? Because there's no light for, or, you know, there's no light bouncing off the atmosphere for you and scattering. So the middle of the ocean, you'll have the best skies well, not possible, but you'll have very good skies. What I mean is that we are lower, read further from the atmosphere. So altitude, yes, helps, but for a different reason. It's like the sun at night for that LED fixture. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm in a like a neighborhood, and we've got a bunch of like street lamps and whatnot that I wish they would put, like, you know, covers on, but it is what it is. So altitude helps for a specific reason. So, or for different reasons. Mostly because the atmosphere is very wobbly. So air moves, and it moves fast. And there's a lot of air between us and space. So getting up higher means that you have less atmosphere to scatter the light you're looking at. You know, so if you're trying to take pictures of this, and you've got, you know, air just wobbling through here, you're not going to get a very good picture. It's something astronomers call seeing. And if you have bad seeing, that means the atmosphere is very wobbly. And a lot of times you'll see this most often with planetary imaging, where if you try to look at like the moon or any of the planets, that's where, like, the more you magnify, the longer your focal length, the more zoom you have. That's when you start to see all of that start to matter more. But because I'm so wide field, seeing doesn't really affect my images all too much. Yeah. So, you know, that, you know, like I said, that's not going to be as much of a thing for, like, a lot of this wide field stuff. But once you start getting into those longer focal lengths is when it happens. I get we needed them, but not that bright. So I feel like they would be less bad if you could get, like, the little, like, hats on them that, like, prevent them from, like, going, like, straight horizontal out. Like, have it beam down at an angle, not, like, full 180 degrees. But I also understand there's a safety aspect to it. I can walk through my house now without any lights on, and I have blinds and curtains. Oh no. Do you have blackout blinds? Yeah. Now, see, me, I used to work third shift, so I'm used to coming home at, 3, 4 in the morning and then sleeping till 2 p.m. So that it doesn't bother me. Plus, the new lights don't leave space for the birds to make nests that can catch fire. I mean, saving the birds is also a good thing. There we go. I did that too, but my room got really dark back then. Yeah, mine was very bright. What I want to do now, I stretched this. Continuum subtraction. Does that require a stretched RGB? I worked third shift around 2009 to 2012-ish. Gotcha. Okay, so this is to take linear things. So I need to go back. You'll need a red or RGB image for HA and S-tube subtraction, and a green if you don't have an RGB. Okay. Is this a hobby or something you do for work as well? This is purely a hobby. I mean, I do it for stream, so if you consider, streaming a business, I don't really make any money or a lot of money on this. I do have a Patreon, by the way, where you can get my images when I, finish like my high resolution ones. I post them full res with no watermark on my Patreon, and that's only $2 a month. So very affordable. I post progress updates when I have them. And then, stuff like that. So like images like this one previously, I put on the Patreon. As you can see down in the bottom here, very high resolution. 11,300 pixels by 6,300 pixels. That's massive. You get things like that. The Seder region that we saw earlier. There's also the Veil Nebula. Like, all kinds of cool things are on there. So, if you feel like supporting the astronomy, that's kind of the best way to do it. And like I said, I made it very affordable, because I understand that I can't deliver every month, I can try, but sometimes the clouds just don't happen, So that's why I made it very affordable. You can, join, get the images, and then if you need to stop because I haven't been able to post, I completely understand. So it is very, very up to you. Okay, so if we want to do continuum subtraction, we need to go back to, we need to have a linear. Wait, I didn't actually have anything there. I need to go back to a linear and do that. Actually, let's do this. Let's arrange icons. Let's actually just redo the channel combination. And I'll redo the color calibration. Very up to my wallet situation, but good to know. Yes, yes. And I understand your money is important. It is absolutely important. Continuum LRGB. Oh, right. It doesn't like dashes for some reason. Find background. But yeah, I think right now, I think I have just one member that is actually like a paying member. Okay. So we need to color calibrate again. I don't think I did the flux calibration, but let's redo that. On a semi-related note, I have been thinking on getting a telescope for my kids and obviously myself. I had one when I was, and I think it would be great to let them explore. Yeah, so for kids, you know, kind of one of the cool things you can do is they're not going to care about like image quality and stuff like that. They're going to care like, can I see the moon close up? You know, so you can get away with, you know, a cheap telescope and all that, you know. So we did color calibration. I just want them to be able to see things better than I could back then. I mean, and that is absolutely fair. Up along R, G, and B. I think for this, I'm supposed to leave it. Oh, here we go. So I'm open to suggestions. You know what? Let's go to like High Point Scientific. And you know, let's so I guess here's the question, Carlos. Do you want them to do visual observing, or do you want them to take photos? I'm assuming you're mentioning visual. Is that correct? Let's start with visual. Yeah. So Misadventures, Carlos is looking for recommendations for visual telescopes for his kids. So what I would do, yeah. So this is High Point Scientific. I buy a lot of stuff from them. So what you might want to look at are potentially either Dobsonians or maybe reflectors. So let's see here. Let's sort by price here. Yeah, so we got some stuff for under $100. But let's see here. What is this Newtonian here? Okay, so this has an equatorial mount on it. Okay, so actually this here kind of looks pretty good. So what this is a this is an entry level telescope. You know, $200. It comes with a telescope and a mount and a tripod. So you get all of that along with 2 eyepieces. And what's nice about this is this mount. I don't know if this is mechanical. I don't fully understand how the mount works. But what you should be able to do is track an object using that mount. You may have to like turn some knobs to like follow it, but it has a decent focal length for the price. So my telescopes are 336 millimeters of focal length. This is 500, but you get a nice big aperture, big opening at the front, so you'll let in light very quickly. You have a pretty good focal ratio where you could see things like the moon or Jupiter or Saturn through this. And what's nice about it being like not too long of a focal length is, like I said, I don't know if this thing is motorized. I don't think it is, but if you go further in longer in focal length than, than like 300, 400, 500, well, yeah, you got to remember things in the sky move constantly throughout the night. So, you just gotta worry about that. So what I will say is that with my telescope that is only 336 millimeters of focal length, I took this photo of Jupiter the other night. It's not great. It's not going to win any awards. But you can see it's there. You can actually see 2 of the moons. Your kids will be able to see Saturn very easily. And if they want to look at the moon, you can get these things called Barlows. And I'm going to type it into chat, that have varying levels of magnification. So you can get a 2 times Barlow, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times Barlow. So if you really want to look at like some of the stuff up close, that's where like you can kind of cheap away and get, it's kind of like a little cheater's way of getting extra focal length out of something. Yeah, there we go. Yep, everything's in motion. Astronomy show, are those all your photos? Are those all photos from you? That you've taken? The planets? Yes, nice. But yeah, so in terms of like reflector telescopes, those are pretty good. These other types called Dobsonians are a very kind of a specific type of reflector. And a lot of times they have a very long focal length built into like a small package. So like, for example, if we were to look at, say, I don't know, this one. Okay, I mean, it's 650. It's not, super long, but a little bit longer. and looks like it's small and easy to fold up. But yeah, those are very nice. Those are very nice. So, I would check out some of those, because you can, like, that was Mars, an hour of rotation in 2010, Saturn in 2011, Jupiter in the last 10 years. Nice. Yeah, I've not really gotten many good ones personally of the planets, because I don't have a long focal length telescope. But that may change depending on misadventures in Astro. Yeah, anytime. I'm glad we could help. And also, like, if you want to, like, send me like a link to one you're thinking about, I can after stream or off stream, like, mention, like, you want to look for this or that, or whatever. You can always ask questions, because questions get you information. By the way, astronomy show, have I shown you this photo that I took? This is another one that went on the Patreon as well. Yeah. So this was back in October. The moon and Pleiades had an occultation, and earlier that week I had gotten 6 hours of the Pleiades, and then I found out about that occultation happening, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I have an idea to, like, combine these two images. So when it was occulting the Pleiades in this position, I took a bunch of photos for reference so that I could, like, line them up. And then I basically then took an image of the moon, processed it, and then overlaid it on top of the Pleiades, as if you could see both of them, as a composite image. Like, technically it's an impossible photo, because the background is 6 hours of light, whereas this is like less than a second. But I just really liked it. All right, so let's go back here. Wait, did we do the flux calibration? I don't think we did. We did not. Having fun in this hobby is what it's all about. Exactly. Any monetary value is just extra. Also spreading science, like, one of the things that really, like, got me into this, like, hard, was it was a moment of discovery for me. Like, as a a person of science, I know that the universe is massive, right? I know that it's large. I know that there's tons of stuff out there. And I had kind of my own moment of like back when, like, the Hubble Deep Field came out, and we pointed the telescope at a random patch of sky, and it came back with tons of stuff. I had a moment like that of my own. where when I first started getting into this, I had found out about something called the Messier list of astronomical targets by Charles Messier. Cataloged a whole bunch of stuff, like over 100 targets. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go through the Messier list because I've heard of this. People are talking about it, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I just picked a random one. And I think it's M87. It was supposed to be a galaxy. I'm like, you know, galaxies, they're kind of small, whatever. I'll see what I can do, you know, because it's still learning, right? Didn't really have the tools to like visualize what I'd be able to see, all that kind of stuff at the time. We do now. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take photos of this and process them together and get, you know, an image of this galaxy. So I do that, and I create this image. And now granted, this isn't that same image, but this is that same target. And going after one galaxy showed me all of these galaxies. And I was just like, oh, I got much more than I was, you know, like I felt like I got more than I paid for. You know, it was like one of those deep field moments of Hubble where you look at one thing and then you find all this other stuff. So now granted, all of this is known. Like it was already known. Like these things were already there. People already knew about this. But it was this thing called Markarian's chain, which is this whole chain of galaxies and whatnot. And it felt like a moment of discovery for me because I didn't know it existed. And I thought it was pretty cool. You know? So like that's one of the things that like keeps me you know, going. Is like there's so much out there that like we could still explore, we could still image and photograph and all this stuff. The Virgo cluster is amazing. Here. So, you know, it's just fun. And, you know, when you get like those long focal length telescopes, you can really look at the small stuff. You can look at details on, you know, the planets. So if I get that C8, the Edge HD, I actually do want to do like some imaging with it. Not just planetary, but like deep sky imaging as well. Because I do want to see a lot of this stuff like closer. M87 has an awesome black hole jet as well. Do I have that? Isn't M87 near this? Because this is M86. I thought it was one of these here. I don't remember which one. Okay, now you guys are just flexing. But, I mean, you know, I'm just, you know, extolling like how fun this whole hobby is. Okay, so we were going to do continuum subtraction. So the sulfur, I believe, has had blur exterminator. It has. All right, so I think we're ready for continuum. So HA will be H. We have O. We have S. Actually, has this been stretched? No, it has not. Good. So that'll be Continuum LRGB. Red RGB. I want to output linear only. Everything is starry. Please select the appropriate emission and continuum images. Didn't I just do that? I'm sorry, didn't I just do that? Do I need to select the green as well? There we go. M87 is the one that the Event Horizon Telescope imaged the black hole in microwave radiation. Interesting. Oh, I didn't remove any gradients, but whatever. But it is what it is. Alright, we have HA narrowband, S2 narrowband, O3 narrowband. Alright, so let's see the O3, the oxygen 3. Here's the sulfur 2. Here's the hydrogen alpha. It's interesting that the O3 has like a really dark spot in the middle there. So let's check out the hydrogen alpha here. So this should be just pure hydrogen alpha data. And then a lot of oxygen 3 in the core. Not a lot in the surrounding galaxy. It's just their cores. Oh, a little pocket right here. Oh, a couple little pockets up along here. And then same with the sulfur 2 here. Okay. So what I might do here is do an automatic DBE. Also, welcome back from the ads. That's the benefit of getting different color light. You can distinguish details and bang on them harder in the processing too. Exactly. So if you really want to like bump up something, you can. Alright, I gotta use the correct mouse here. Alright, so here's the background. That doesn't look right to me. Unless that's actually... Oh, this might also be like overstretched because it's an auto stretch. I have to run NinjaGloppy, but it's been a pleasure being here. Thanks again, Misadventures in Astro, for the sub. Clear skies and good seeing to all. Thank you, Astronomy Show, for stopping by. It is a pleasure having you, and I'm glad. You know, I hope you can return to streaming soon. And I wish good seeing to you as well, sir. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. So this is the old original one. Let's just put that there. Nice work on the Andromeda Galaxy there and your other images too. Well, thank you, thank you. We are going to continue working away at it and try and get the best image that we can. But yeah, thank you. It is much appreciated. I put in a lot of time on it, so I want to make a good image. All right, so let's get back to that multi-scale stretch. All right, so let's try it at the default. Oh, this isn't taking much longer now. So, for everyone remaining, how do we want to add in the other data? Like the hydrogen alpha and the sulfur and the oxygen. Do we want to do SHO? Do we want to do HSO? Do we want the hydrogen alpha to be red? Do we want it to be green? Okay. Got some really dark sections there. That's cool. Let's just see. I want to do something real quick. Let's just do like a quick curves and just like bump the saturation and the chroma. See where we're getting color here. Wait, hold on. I've got an idea for something. That's not a preview. Do I have him on here? I don't know if I do. Hold on real quick. Gotta look at something. Gotta download something real quick. Alright, I think I got it. Yes, we got it now. So we got some color masks and stuff. So what I want to do is, can you use the luminance as a lightness mask? You can. How do I unmask that? Yeah. Let's clone that again. I'm glad I cloned it. And then I guess what I'll do is I'll just do like a curve or something. And like bring it down. You see, it's there. Let's bring the luminance down. Why is that not making a difference? I'm just gonna do like a... Yeah, let's do that. And now we do a curves. So now if we bump the chroma, we should kind of bump it for what is actually signal. Although I think I could have made my mask a little bit better. Why is this like... Why does it feel like I'm doing so much and like hardly anything's happening? Is it because of that mask? Probably. let's see this here. Yeah, so if I really bump the chroma, we see that. All right. So let me come back here, and this is Continuum LRGB. What? No. Okay, so we're back to where we were. Okay. So let's do this. So we have our Continuum LRGB. Let's kind of keep this off to the side for now. Actually, I do want to bring the colors up, the chroma. Do it in little bits here and there. I don't want to go too far. Alright, so we're going to leave that there, and then we're going to start on the SHO via the continuum. So let's do a... Let's bring these up. Now I think these are still linear. They are. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do a LRGB combination. Now this is probably going to be a little weird. I don't think it's going to work quite right. But let's see what happens. We can play with it for science. Because we love science. I don't think that's what I wanted. I think I just want a regular channel combination. Let's see how this looks. Okay, interesting. Oh, you know what? They need to be like linear fit to each other. So let's use HA as the reference. Alright, so now let's try the channel combination. Continuum LRGB. Let me look at the history of that. Alright, target background is 0.15. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. That core is so super bright. So what my plan is right now is we're gonna create this narrow band image based purely on the continuum. And then what I'll do is I'll extract it back out into its red, green, and blue into SHO. And then we'll use pixel math to combine it with the previous continuum LRGB image. Although I feel like at some point I should have done Star Exterminator. So I may still do that. In fact, it might be good to do it now for the continuum image. Alright, let's see here. I might do like an HDR multi-scale. Let's just see what it looks like. I mean, I don't know that we're gonna get much better. Because the multi-scale adaptive stretch does HDR as well. So we'll see. Although I am just realizing now that the sulfur and oxygen are too weak. To the effect that we're only adding essentially hydrogen alpha. I don't know that we're actually going to be adding anything useful. All right, come on now, finish up. image 40. Yeah, I didn't really do anything. Anyways. Lurk, modding for nerd with guests. Yes, make sure that you tell him I say hi. By the way, Nerduino is pushing for Twitch partner, so make sure you go and support them. Pretty sure I shouted them out previously. Alright, so this is SHO Continuum. Actually, you know what I might do? Let's try some narrowband normalization. And see how that looks. Alright, so then we can split these up. And then now let's try a little bit of pixel math. So we're going to use the expression editor because we want that for all three. So that would be that plus just do RGB. And then destination will be a new image. Why is this in gray? Oh, you know what? We need to... I know what we need to do. We need to... is t minus the median of t. So we want to essentially extract the background or remove the background. Then we can go back to continuum plus R, G, and B. Okay. Create a new image. Damn it. That did the same. All right, so I'm pretty sure we have like a gradient here of some sort. Let's do this. Let's find background. So there are a couple things though. One, the core is very overblown. Also, that's not... I don't think that's background. So I'm going to delete that. I think this is background. So let's do a background neutralization. Oh, yeah. So the background is very red, and I think that's from the sulfur that we brought in. But I don't think it's actually red. So we're gonna see what this gradient correction does. And I might need to do like a background extraction. So let's do this. Let's do automatic DBE. Let's let that run. Because theoretically, that background should not be like reddish. Reddish purplish. Like anything that's like actually pure background should be kind of a gray. Yeah, so that's looking better in my opinion. Although it still looks kind of red. But what we can see here is these green sections. That poor core, I know. So, welcome on in, Third Rock. So that happened when we did a continuum subtraction and then tried to bring hydrogen alpha in. What you can see here is just super bright. And I'm not sure that I did the subtraction correctly. Also, make sure you go and give Third Rock a follow. I'm just playing around at the moment, so I'm not like super invested as like this is gonna be my final image. I'm gonna go back and reprocess at some point. Actually, you know what? I should have done a gradient correction there on that one. That would have fixed some of my problems. But that's even after doing like a multi-scale adaptive stretch. Continuum subtraction is a pain in the ass. So to do it, they need to be starless. You need H, A, R, and G, which I have all of that. So I ran through the continuum subtraction utility and added all of that. Because we have LRGB SHO for this image. Yeah, unfortunately, some of my hydrogen alpha doesn't have that data that is in this image, right? So like, if we look at this here, this is before and after. Okay, so that's color calibration. Where's the? Yeah, so here's your hydrogen alpha subtracted. So you see there's structure here, kind of up there. I don't see that in my hydrogen alpha data, unfortunately. So I'm just trying to get what I can at the moment. But like I said, I don't care too much at the moment. Just playing around with different workflows. Took you 3 months to get it right. It's not easy. Yeah, and like the thing is, like I've got 32 hours of just hydrogen alpha. So, you know, it's something I still got to work at a bit. But I haven't done any Star Exterminator or Blur Exterminator yet. Just sent the continuum added in Discord. Nice. So, do you have less data for the left side of this? Because I see currently reshooting Luminance on Andromeda. Damn smoke from over the summer. So I can see there's a difference in noise right here. Like the split between the two images is right here. So I was just wondering if you have more data from one side versus the other. He says no. I had to cheat. We won't speak of that. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, once you run Noise Exterminator, it's not gonna matter. We're still kind of working. I don't really like the result of adding the sulfur in. Let's just say Mars MSG can remove bad vignetting that doesn't get corrected. Gotcha. Oh, what happened there? Do you actually think I'm paying for Noise X or Star X? Not ever in this lifetime. Yeah, okay. Whatever noise reduction tool you want to use. I don't like how purple this is. I may just scrap this image. But let's see if we can actually like recover it though. I have an idea of something. What I want to do is kind of get everything that's here to that and then invert it. And then let's go to curves. Let's bring down the red and the blue. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I have an issue with paying that much for script. I'm just gonna have to run tons of data through myself to train my optical system, since it's only trained for RC Astros. So like I could cheat and just like remove the saturation. I don't know if I like that. I don't like that. I think I just don't like this image. And I'm just gonna throw it away. I didn't like how like purple it was, you know? Like I think the continuum subtraction was just wrong for the sulfur. Cuz it was like I don't know, that's just me. That's something a lot of people fail to realize about the AI trained scripts is it's trained using whatever rigs they have available to feed it data for. Similar to how StarNet works at first, it's not great, but the more data you feed it, the weights adjust and learn, the better the AI does. I forget, this was the image 47 is this is LRGB Yeah. I'm throwing this away. StarNet was originally done with an FSQ 106 ED X4 and a QSI CCD. I don't like that. See, I don't know that I did. I don't know that I did the continuum subtraction correctly, even though I used like the utility. Like everything was linear. So I might like redo it. Yeah, I'm gonna redo the continuum subtraction. All right. I don't need this one. I'm just gonna throw that away because I'm not using it anymore. So to do your continuum, run star X, your star X or star net on RGHA. Use SETI Astro to make it the stars really mess it up. So I actually used SETI Astro has a tool for it. So this continuum subtraction utility is by SETI Astro. And this is what I used before. Although I need to double check. So this is stretched. Is this linear? Continuum LRGB. This is linear. So I'm just going to do this. No, I don't need that. I can just do this. So we have H, O, S. So I can do red and green. That is what I used. Then, if I remember correctly, I used pixel math on that link and combined it to the RGB. I don't remember 100%. It's been a hot minute since I've touched that data. Since I was waiting on my lucky 6 nights. Now, when you do your pixel math, do you subtract the median from each of your continuum ones? Supposed to be clear through Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Yeah, so for me, tomorrow night versus through Wednesday is supposed to be clear as well. No, you don't subtract anything. So this is your first time doing it. Gotcha. Alright, arrange icons. Tile these windows. So are these stretched? They are stretched. Won't lie, probably also my last time. Alright, so we have our image here, which I don't remember if I did a background neutralization on this or not. Let's make sure we do, and let's give it like the best thing that we can. Could load up my project, but it'll be 20 to 30 minutes before it loads. I hear you. All right. I don't think that's actually background. I think that's just dark dust. But let's try it and see what happens. We can always undo. Yeah. So let's do this. Yeah, let's delete these previews. Okay, so we have this, and now we have our 4 that we can add in. So, chat, how do we want to do this pixel math? You can say when I added in the continuum, I was pleasantly surprised that HA background is there but faint. Well, actually, let's look at ours. So, like, theoretically, it would be stuff up here. But I feel like I just kind of have glow. Although I'm curious. If I run repair star cores on this. Will it fix some of these stars? Now, for each panel, how much hydrogen alpha did you have? Do you remember? Is this? It's... no. Oh no. I hope we're not losing everything. I'm just gonna let it sit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is not a good sign. I guess we're just gonna kind of sit here and wait. So Third Rock, how was your weekend? Anything fun or exciting happen for you? Nope.
And now it's gone, and I hate everything.
That's how I feel, Misadventures. It's gone and I hate everything. Oh no. I have a feeling like we're about to lose it all. Oh, no. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, never mind. We're fine. We're absolutely fine. Nothing went wrong whatsoever. Questioning why people are setting off fireworks because of a football game. When is the Super Bowl, by the way? Anyone know? February 8th. Okay. I mean, that's not too far away. End of January, beginning of February. Yeah, it's on the 8th. We just looked. All right. We are not going to use a single expression. We want continuum LRGB ADBE. Oh no. All right, so okay. Do we want to just blend this? And then we'll do like that. We're going to create a new image. It's going to be in color. So here we have HSO. I'm gonna let's also do one for SHO. Goes that. Yeah, the core gets blown out here. I don't really like the SHO one, to be honest. I actually kind of like the HSO one better. Actually, you know what? I could also do one where I blend the two. Or do that. Yeah, that's what I was about to do. But I want to do HA for red. Let's delete that one. Okay, that does save it. In fact. I mean, this is workable, in my opinion. Because I can remove the stars and then adjust. Let's call this LRGB HSO. All right, let's see how this looks. But yeah, that did save the core. Yeah, let's see what we can do about the noise. Honestly, this is looking much better. Yes it is. So, here, let me show you what the balance is here. We have 32 hours of hydrogen alpha, 9 of O3, 3.5 of sulfur. Then everything else is 4 with 6 hours, almost 7 hours of luminance. So yeah, it's a bit unbalanced. But I'm actually kind of liking how this looks. Also, hold on here. So you remember when you were talking about the hydrogen alpha? I think this is it right here. I didn't notice this before, but it is there in the data. You see this? That is the signal that I've been trying to get. Which is very interesting. So what I might do is I might actually do something like this. Oop. Where I just bring up that faint dust. But we can do that in a moment. Ideally, I'd like to do more HA, but it is too late for that for this part of the year. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Okay, I will say I was not expecting to actually have some of that stuff in there. It's there. We can see it. Andromeda is at Meridian at Astro Dark. By 11:30 midnight, it's going behind a tree. Yeah, that's a little tougher. All right, so we have some of that stuff in there. Okay, these are the stars. So let's do another range selection here. Yeah, this is what I want. I want to. No, this isn't what I want. I want some smoothness on this one. So let's see if we can bring out that dust. So I decided after I lose it for the night, I'm doing a horse head till I lose that around 1 or something in the morning. Not trying to image anything in the east too big of an FOV for galaxy season. I get that. I actually started capturing the what's the name of that? The Fossil Footprint Nebula. Started doing a little bit on that. NGC 1491. Wait, what? What is happening here? Oh, wait, I know. I want to do the chain, but it's a mosaic, and I'm not doing another LRGB mosaic. Andromeda was enough. I know what I did wrong here. My mask isn't correct. Because what I didn't do was bring this up. Well, let's bring this down so I can actually like see the data. And now let's do curves. Because I was like, what is happening? Put that over here. Oh, that's just gonna make everything look weird, isn't it? Yeah, I don't want to do that. It makes everything look weird. Like, we've got it there. I can see that it's there. Wait, I actually want to bring, like, some of that up. Like, no, I don't. Actually, let's do this. I want to bring it up a little bit. I'm going to do Bodes and Markarian with the red cat. Actually, I kind of want to just leave it like this. Because it is, like, all nice and dusty around it. Yeah, like, I've got a bunch of stuff I want to do. But unfortunately, being that I can only, like, see... like the north half of the sky, I can't really do Markarian's chain. Made my HA continuum linear and combined it all linear, not non-linear like I was told to do. LRGB SHO and the stars. Okay, so we do have some of that dust, that faint dust. Like, we could see some of that structure in there. So, I guess, what are my options? I can... Oh, wait, you know what? I shouldn't have combined this yet. Another 30 out. Unfortunately, I think you're kind of right. If I wanted to, like, get things, like, proper. You know? Like, if I really want to get that dust to actually pop, I think I may actually have to do that. But what I will say is it is nice to see that the data is there. Because I did not think it was. What does this do? Almost nothing. Oh wait, hold on. If I do this, bring the luminance of the... Well, let's try this. Bring the luminance of the dust up. It kind of loses some color and gets washed out. I don't know if I like it. Maybe if I had your 600, I would do the chain, but with my 268, I want to get M89, M90, and M91 in the framing too. Makes the 3-panel mosaic. I don't have the storage space for that. I understand. I understand. I did not. I did not go for that because, Misadventures, I might put that money that I was going to spend on that towards the C8 if you wind up selling that for a good price to me. To my, for my C8. So I was kind of waiting on you to see where that comes in. Because I know you said you needed to test it since it's been used. All right, let me ask you guys this. How does this look with the HA? With the red? With a little bit of a boost there. The only problem... I've got an idea. Let's do a red mask. Let's do a red mask and then a range selection on the red mask. Oh, that looks cool. What I want is that outer stuff. What is what is a good price in your eyes for a C8? For a C8 Edge. I don't know, but I don't know that I don't know if I want to pay full price. Because that I mean that to me that feels like a lot. So I don't know the answer to it, which is why I was like kind of waiting to see, because like I got like a couple $100 towards astronomy stuff for Christmas, and so if I could justify the price, it would go towards that, I think. What I'd really like to do with this, though, is get the dark stuff. I had someone DM on mine finally. Hopefully it sells. It's been at Cloudbreak for almost a year. Yeah, so Third Rock. So I do want an Edge HD C8. Because while I do want to do some planetary, I do also want to do some deep sky imaging as well. So I am hoping a little bit to get the ability to do that. Nope, that's too much. I go to 6? Yeah. A slight fuzziness to it. I can do DSO with my C8 because I have the 6.3 corrector reducer, where the edge really shines over the older model's planetary due to the lens in the rear baffle tube. Yeah, so like I am kind of hoping to get both out of it, you know? Alright, some... It doesn't quite seem right. Is this mask right? No, that mask isn't right. No wonder I'm not seeing what I want. You have a guide scope, right? OAG is a pain in the ass on SCTs. You may or may not have guide stars on certain targets. Yeah, so I have 2 full setups, Third Rock. So the second setup is the SCAR FMA 135. And it does have a guide scope on it, as well as an autofocuser. Actually, you know what? If this is just a mask, I can run a curves on this to see the dark stuff. Because it's just a mask. I don't care about blowing it away. Right, like I can bring the luminance up on. Why did that do like nothing? I guess I don't care about that. There we go. Like I want to see some of that stuff in there. There we go. I think I went 1 too far. So now I do a range selection on this. Wait, I'm not seeing the detail. Why is this not playing well? Well, let's just put that up there for now. Like we saw the data. What happened? Like we see it there. Now we're talking designing cars to drive at night and reduce light pollution. The dark sky one. Oh, there's audio to this. Let's mute that for now. Well, now we know what car Third Rock's gonna buy. Misadventures, what pre-order number are you? .007, yeah. Alright, so how do I get the mask that I want to... Maybe I don't need it. Let's run a screen stars and see. Like maybe that dust will show. It kind of does. I think I really just want like a really good range selection here. That's too much. Or too little. Just gonna bring us up in like increments. Yeah, okay, so 9 is too much. 8.5 is too much. 8.2, 8.0. That's just a tiny bit of fuzz. Don't want that mask anymore. Okay, yeah, I don't want to do that. Actually, I have an idea. If I just want to get the red, let's just split this into the red. Use that same mask. Like that. Let's do that. So now I do curves. And I know that I can be targeting specifically red signal. Like, I know this is an extreme stretch, but like we could see it there. I'm gonna add a little bit of red to it. Damn it. Because we've added it to the hydrogen to the red. So do you guys like that? Because I kind of do. Like, I like seeing the hydrogen in there. No, undo that. Looks like I could also like really crank the chroma on it. All right, any opinions? No opinions. Okay, so you don't care specifically whether... So, like, I'm trying to get this cloud to be a little bit more red. Which is also affecting here as well. But I'm actually kind of okay with it. Because I'm not making, like, the whole thing overly red. So I don't know what that was. I'm gonna go with it for now. Oh, I think I wanted that saturation up. Actually, maybe not. Actually, yeah, I do want it. I do want it a little bit. Because that'll increase the brightness a little bit. Alright, now let's do some stars. Who is happy they finally added subframe selector? I saw that, but I haven't played with it yet. But yeah, I was. It kind of felt like they saw SETI Astro do it, and then they're like, alright, fine, we'll do it. So they finally got to work on it. Let's try this. Let's try repair star cores. No more blinking and culling data by eye. I missed using it, but I was too damn lazy to stack the long way. That didn't really fix the star cores. Actually, I feel like I should have done it before I did screen stars, but oh well. Let's just see what happens if I run this. If we get any gradients. Actually, I don't know if I'm done with this. Because I feel like there should be more blue. Personally. Like, yeah, we added a lot of red. I don't really like what that did. There we go. Data had to be calibrated to... Well, make up your mind. It was used right before image integration. You would think the weighting would be good enough to reject bad frames or stuff with bad HFR, but with half maximum. But nope, now with the subframe selector, you can just add all data, stack, and cull with it. Let's get a blue mask in here. God, I hate how some of these icons are just so small. I miss it all the time. Actually, this is not the mask that I want. What I actually want to do is I want to come to here and get a blue mask off of that. Because I want to bring out the natural blue in it. To hopefully get like that like ring around the edge that's blue. Now S2 radiation storm. Oops. Wait, no. I want... Damn it. No, don't close that. I want the blue. I want to do a range selection on that. Yes, we were talking about that earlier, actually. It'll last for about 24 hours. Nice. The sun was smiling at us today. Actually, this is the mask that I want. Minimize that. Close that. Now I bring up curves. Now I bring up this. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Bring some of this like natural blue back. right after it fart the X 1.95 at us. No, I don't want that. I actually do want to just boost the blue. Actually, I don't know if this mask is fully what I want. I think it's still got a little bit too much. Yeah, I think I want to do that. Oops, I already have that. So now if we bring the blue up, we get our nice little core. Or like ring around the core. I'm not gonna bring it up that much, but let's do this. Just to bring a little bit of blue back into it. All right. I'm happy for tonight. So let's save this project. Do I need to blur this? Let's see. Okay, so that's gonna take a little bit to save. Third Rock, I see you sent me something. What'd you send me? Oh, this is an image of the sun today. Oh, the smile. I see. The eye and a little smile. It was happy. Okay? It got all that gas out. It was very gassy. Alright, so for now, let's do this. And let's start figuring out where we want to go after we say goodbye to YouTube. So bye, YouTube.